So what I want to do now is create a feed that I can access at /feed. And here, what I'll have is all the tweets that belong to the users that I'm currently following. So there's a number of ways I can do this, but I know that I'm going to need a controller for a feed. I'm actually going to make this as a new resource. It'll just have one of the CRUD actions, which is read. So you'll just be able to read your feed. We'll have a view for that feed, and I'll also set up a route for it. And there's a number of ways we can do this, but I'm going to create the files manually, just so that you guys sort of know what's going on. The first thing is I'll call this feed controller. Actually, let me save this file. Feed controller. This is going to be different from the other ones where we had S's, because there's going to be one feed essentially. It's just going to change depending on who you are when you're logged in. So the feed controller, let me just pull over the values of like user controller, plug this in, but I'll call this the feed controller, and it'll have a show action, and we'll fill this in a second. Next up, I'll create a new, not a new file, a new folder to have my feed view inside of. And inside of here, this is going to be called the show.html.erb. So that should be, start to become familiar. And then the route, I can put a new route. I'll put it at the top here. And the route will be get feed. And this will take you to the feed show. All right. And let's refresh. And there's our page. So, if I put something here like test, I should see that test there. OK, so now what we need to do is figure out how to get the tweets of all the users that I'm following. So first of all, I'm already following one user, but let me, I think I am actually following this user, Rails console. This is where it gets a little buggy. Follow.all. Yeah, so this one I am following, and my only thing I can say about this is try restarting your server and click refresh. Oops, we're back on. Okay, yeah, now it accurately says that I am following and I have the option to unfollow. This is, I don't know why this happens. I think it's a bug in the access follower gem, unfortunately. So it's not super responsive right now, but we have to go with it just for demonstration purposes. And then let me follow another user. Cool, so now I'm following two users, and I can actually see that because the access follower gem has a method called all-following. So if I find my current user equals user.findby email matan@onemonth.com, then I can do current user.all-following, and I see the other two users I'm following, which is cool. Now, how do I find the tweets of all of those users? Well, I'm going to introduce you to a special command. We'll be able to search through the tweets, but instead of doing like a find by, I'm going to do a where. This is a lot like a find by, except that where actually it sort of acts at the database level. If you want to learn more about this, you can look at Active Record where. And where lets you do a lot more custom stuff. It's called the Active Record Query Interface. And it basically gets turned into SQL at the end of the day. So if I do tweet where user is current user.all-following, it basically gives me all of the tweets that belong to any of those users. The reason I had to do where, and I just figured this out by trying, is that if I do find by, for some reason it only returns the first one. So I want the all, and that's where figuring this out actually works. So tweet where user is current user.all-following, if I put that in here, now I need to turn this into a variable so that I can access it in the views. I can do tweets equals tweet where current user.all-following, and of course let's lock this one down to make sure that the user's logged in when they get to this page. Otherwise, there's not really going to be anything to show them. So let me authenticate this here. And in fact, these accepts are silly at this point because, oh, you know that, yeah, actually there's a little bit of a bug I realized. We don't want to accept those actions. We want to lock down all of them. So let's lock down all of the follows controller actions and the feed controller. This will actually do all of them. So this will make sure that you're logged in before you can access any of these. And now we have the tweets. And so on the show page, I can basically do almost exactly what I do on the tweets index page. And in fact, that's exactly what I'm going to do. For now, I'm just going to copy and paste all of this in. I don't know why I have that space up there at the top. It's a little bit annoying. Index. Probably this could be spaced out a little bit better, actually. You know, maybe put spaces between the column medium and etc. But let's run with this for now. And if I go to feed, oh, I don't want this new tweet. I mean, I guess I can keep the new tweet on my feed. Now, this is basically a custom feed that only has users that I'm following, as opposed to tweets, which shows all of the tweets, including, you know, my own. Now, I have a special feed, which, you know, basically just does that. And so if I go to one of these guys, and if I, there it is again, I am following this guy, restart the server. Okay, now I'm following. If I unfollow this guy and go back to my feed, then I only have that one user. So basic social functionality. Just wanted to show you guys that. I don't know. I'm going to look into the bug around the follow and the unfollow thing and it showing up properly. It's pretty annoying that it would do that. But hopefully this gets us a little bit of the way there in terms of starting to build out social functionality, and hopefully the access follower gem improves a little bit so that we don't end up running into this problem. Okay, cool.